So, Curtis, we could talk about OU Texas all day long, but we want to talk about other college football games that happened this past weekend while we have you on air. A lot of interesting stuff that we saw from the score lines. If you look back, Ohio State barely sliding by Indiana. Same with Michigan State and Purdue.
Ole Miss beating Florida. Or yeah. Florida beating Ole Miss, excuse me.
So, Curtis, my question to you is, what have you seen out of the top five, especially with those Big Ten teams in the past couple weeks? Are you surprised by how inconsistent it's been, or is this what you expect out of the teams like Ohio State and Michigan State? Are they going to fall off eventually?
I would have expected Ohio State to look better at this point,
right.
But I also...
John, I think one thing that Back to the Future never, ever would have predicted is the weekend that we just had in college football. More specifically, the one game between Michigan and Michigan State. But you also have to mention LSU and Florida, the crazy game that was, and others as well. But let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Michigan can't catch a break.
I'm going to say this right now, and I said this on Tuesday. Michigan should still today be higher seeded than Michigan State.
Because of the way they played?
The way they played. Not only the way they played, but the way they just dominated the whole football game. And the way they just made Connor Cook look like he was the only player on the field. I mean, Connor Cook looked like he was literally all Michigan State had. And Michigan State dropped a lot of passes that Connor Cook put right in his hands. But partly that was due to Michigan being there on everything. They were flying around. They were knocking people out. And I hate that it comes down to a kicker. But it always does come down to a kicker. You have one job. You have literally one job, and I don't care. I have the best punter in the National Football League in John Ryan, and the Seahawks signed him because literally it comes down to John Ryan changing fields a lot. And I don't care what you have to say. I don't care that he had a 90-yard punt in the first half, which was unbelievable punt. It was a great punt. It totally switched the field. It put them on the 2-yard line, and they were on the 20. It was awesome. But at the same time, the last thing you do, it was a bad snap. The snap was in the ground. I get that. But your one job, make sure you watch the ball to your hands. You got 8 seconds left, dude. Just kick that thing at least 20 yards.
Let's before we go any further, we have audio on this. If you haven't heard, you might have been watching the game on ESPN like a lot of us were, but the Michigan State broadcast is something that I've never heard before as far as how crazy it was, and you'll see why. And we'll come back after this. It's a short break, and then we'll talk about the rest of this game.
All right, Will, for your Oklahoma Christian Eagles, starting at guard, the captain, the bus driver, if you will, a 5'9" senior from Spencer, Oklahoma, number 2, Kendra Talley. Also at guard, number 1 of the Splash Brothers, a 6'1" junior from Corpus Christi, Texas, number 15, Willie Harper. Rounding off the backside of the Splash Brothers, if you will, a 6'3" junior from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, number 22, Nick Tate, getting a start here today. At the forward position, a 6'5" junior from Hurst, Texas, number 4, Josh Burrow. And then rounding it off, Bad Moon Rising, a 6'11" freshman from Crescent, Oklahoma, number 25, John Moon. As always, the head coach of your Eagles, Dan Hayes, assistant coaches, Terrell Hinkins and Rob McKenzie. So there's your starting 5 for the Eagles. John, you gave us the starting 5 for the Aggies. Moments away from tip-off, Tally is going out to the half court. As you can obviously hear the announcement of our starting 5. What does this game say to you, John? I mean, we've already... 18 minutes, 42 seconds left to play here in the first half. Aggies up 3-0. The Eagles looking to get on the board first as Tally swings it over to Tate. He gets it to Harper on the left wing. Tate's now going to fire from the right side, a three-pointer, and he knocks it down. Nick Tate. Three-pointer to three-pointer so far. The score is tied 3-3 with 18 minutes, 20 seconds left to play. As Roseman gets it out to Newton. Newton's going to fire another three-pointer, but that doesn't hit any iron on the right side, a little bit too far. Oklahoma Christian. The score is 49-27 at the half. Your Eagles are up over Newman University. We'll go ahead and give you some stats for the Newman Jets. Leading the way is Jeremy Espinoza, and there's no doubt about it. He's been the one that's doing the most dirty work down low for the Jets. He's 2 of 9 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. He has 10 points total. That leads the way for the Jets. Following closely behind with 6 points is Ryan McCarthy, 2 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Also notable, Marquise Kyler, 2 of 4 from the field with 5 points as a team. They shot 8 of 29 from the field for 27.6%. And from beyond the arc, they're 2 of 11 for 18%. At the free throw line, however, they are 9 of 10 for 90%. So they've been sticking around, I guess, to some extent from the free throw line. John, why don't you go ahead and give us the stats for our Eagles?